Greetings and salutations, everyone. Here is Andrew Robinson, your Jamaican brother, all the way in Switzerland. And I'm reaching out to all of our brothers and sisters on the African continent. You're tuning into Black Hot Fire Radio. You're now listening to the best music. Hottest tracks and coolest mashups of the moment.
Happy Friday, family. How are we doing? Always a great time to be alive here on Let's Talk with Irit and another conversation of redefining Africa as we redefine ourselves because we are the change you need to see in the world. We made it to June 13th. It's a Friday. Always excited for the end of the week because, hey, we've actually made it to the end of the week. But welcome to another uplifting, inspiring conversation with me this beautiful afternoon. Remember to download our app on the Google Play Store, stream on www.blackhotfireradio.network.com for amazing healthy supplements, apparel clothing with the Black Hot Fire Radio logo on it. Remember, on the March sector, we do have t-shirts, hoodies, we do have bags, we do have the flag mags with the Black Hot Fire Radio logo on it, so you can definitely order. Also, we do have supplements like of ashwagandha multivitamin, aloe cool cucumber soap for the ladies, sheer butter, manuka honey coffee on the side of the beverages. Remember to basically order this and support that network because it's always about the Ubuntu, the awakening, and the fact that you are the change you need to see in the world. Another conversation that I actually talked about on Monday, but today I have a guest in the building who will definitely help us go good. I'm so sorry. Delve deeper into this conversation about the fact that Kelis, the R&B singer or basically musician who bought a 300-acre of land in Kenya and a part of Kenya or a region in Kenya in Naivasha. I was actually really positive about this. No blood or anything like that, but actually going deeper into this and having my guest helpers to basically make me understand more about the perspective and how it can actually not work for our own good, like the Africans who are in Africa. We'll go deeper into that before we come back at it. This is Nubia with Ibu.
Greetings and salutations, everyone. Here is Andrew Robinson, your Jamaican brother, all the way in Switzerland. And I'm reaching out to all of our brothers and sisters on the African continent. You're tuning into Black Fire Radio. You're now listening to the best music.
Happy days, people. I hope you're having a great afternoon. We had a great week here with us, always from morning, different shows with us. But today, as we delve into another conversation, before we start, kindly we have amazing supplements on our website. I'll definitely share some of it so that we'll definitely understand what we're actually delving into. We do have ashwagandha brain focus, beetroot, and also we do have the manuka honey coffee. But I'll definitely share some or part of what we actually do have for you to get a niche of what you should definitely be expecting. Super, super affordable. We do have also ashwagandha and manuka honey coffee at $59.90. But welcome again to Let's Pop with Ayrton, always redefining Africa conversation about that as we redefine ourselves. A conversation about an American R&B singer, Kelis, who bought a 300-acre of land in Kenya. I was actually excited about that, you
Yeah.
know. If you watched the video of her talking about this in the podcast and actually educating other African Americans of how they can actually delve into this amazing, I don't know if it's a deal or amazing way to actually settle in Africa. I definitely understand. We know we're literally connected, we're cousins, as they're
Cousins.
saying right now. But my amazing guest over here had different perspective to that. How are you
Okay.
doing? Please introduce yourself.
Um, Hello, everybody. My name is Kamlesh, and apparently, for the purpose of this show, my name is guest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So good to be here. First time guest.
Yeah, thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
Anytime. I've
Yeah,
been a big fan of your show from here.
thank
Yeah.
you.
I always listen.
Right.
I turn you on the other side.
Hmm.
And you always have very interesting guests. So I hope I match the energy
Definitely, because
and the
we're having it.
pedigree.
Of course, we were having
Mm-hmm.
this conversation in the morning. It was Monday, and then you walked
Mm-hmm.
in,
Mm-hmm.
and I was actually accolading Kelis
Mm-hmm.
because, hey, okay, they're trying to move back to their heritage land.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the perspective you had because I didn't think on that perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because here's the thing, yeah. When we have a market that is not built for the local community,
right,
then the local community doesn't succeed. The local community becomes engraved into the rat race, so to say, to serve those that can afford what has been set up for them.
right.
So my initial thought is, how can you be a foreigner and you can buy 300 acres of land in Kenya? Like, what's the thinking behind that?
Right.
So we don't have any government regulations that prohibit foreigners from coming into Kenya
Hmm.
and buying land in Kenya by the mass. Because here's where it gets tricky.
Hmm.
What happens when, because as you put it,
Yeah.
she's basically telling other African Americans
Yeah.
to come and do the same.
Hmm.
So how by herself she can buy 300 acres? What happens when she gets 20 friends to pull up?
Right.
How much acreage is gone from the local population?
Hmm.
What's the cost of them actually investing that heavily in our local real estate market?
Hmm.
Because at what price did she buy an acre?
They actually did not give a factual price. And the photo, I saw Sakaja on that photo with her.
So she has political mileage. She has political capital. That's number one. So when she says, come do this, basically she says, I have the political capital to actually facilitate you to do this.
Hmm.
And you're saying the leaders that are in power that should be looking at this and alarmed
Right.
are actually the ones in bed with this idea.
Right.
If she let's assume how much is an acre of land in Naivasha? Kindly let's find out. Let's give
Okay.
actual information. Okay? And with that, look at if we have special prices for foreigners on land in Kenya.
The cost of an acre of land in Naivasha can vary widely depending on location,
Mm-hmm.
size, and specific features.
Mm-hmm.
However, you can find options ranging from 350,000 for a smaller plot,
Mm-hmm.
that's a quarter
Mm-hmm.
of an acre, to 500,000 Kenyan shillings or more for a full acre plot.
So she bought an acre for probably under a million.
Right.
So let's calculate that real quick. Let's assume she bought it at the highest price possible, right?
Mm-hmm.
She bought it at 500,000 per acre. What is 500,000 times 300? Right? Let's get that math so that we can know how much it takes to
Because it's
take
not
indigenous
easy
land.
for us to go anywhere and just purchase a land, right?
Yeah.
It's just don't do that when you're actually going to the United States of America and you're literally given a 300-acre of land, you know?
So 1.5 billion Kenyan shillings.
Wow.
How many Kenyans have 1.5 billion to throw on a piece of land?
Not much. Countable.
Now, if we are living in this neighborhood, right?
Mm-hmm.
And somebody comes and buys, because that's the highest price,
Yeah.
splurges 1.5 billion Kenyan shillings in our community.
Mm-hmm.
What happens to the price of the surrounding areas?
They're gonna be hyped up
Why?
because of the amount that it did cost for the 300 of acres of land to be bought or purchased.
So suddenly,
Yeah.
is prestige in it? Suddenly, the real estate companies are not really focused on the local market anymore.
Right.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and there should be, because we can't blame the real estate agents. Human greed
Yeah.
is universal in all of us.
Mm-hmm.
We all want to make that buck, but at what cost to the local community? You have to look at the local community, because
Always.
you have to make sure that people can afford land in their own home
Yes,
country.
that is
You
true.
can't be coming from um, wherever around the world, and because you're black, you're saying I'm trying to find home,
Right.
and I feel like by my ancestry report I'm Kenyan. And is it ancestry.com?
What is what?
It's this website where you can get your
Okay.
heritage, whatever.
Right.
Right?
Okay.
I'm Kenyan now.
Mm-hmm.
You go do your heritage test, you say you're Kenyan. So since you've been living in Atlanta and you've been working there your entire life because you were born there
Right.
and you became a superstar,
That is
now
true.
you have um disposable income
Right.
ready to you.
Uh-huh.
You come, you buy land here without any consideration of the local people, inflating the price and inviting others to come do the same.
Mm-hmm.
It's reckless to start off for her to do so. And I won't judge. She's
Of course.
probably going to, hopefully,
Hope we also do hope.
hopefully,
Yeah.
she's going to do something for the
Mm-hmm.
community.
Yes.
Because you're a foreigner. Just because you feel that you're Kenyan now doesn't warrant you. There should be, number one,
Regulations.
regulations. Number one, a time period for you to be in this country
I
before you can buy
agree with that.
pieces of
Land.
land.
That is true.
Number two, probably a marriage certificate or something. Like be an actual citizen. Number three, actually procreate in this country.
But the one I really actually agree with it with in the ones you've mentioned right now is the one should have a time duration to be considered whatever Kenyan Ganyan. You just don't come and you're like, okay, I'm Ugandan and whatever you want to call yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And you're actually given 400 acres of land or 300 acres of land because you can actually be able to afford that,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the fact that also we understand that government is a part of this.
Mm-hmm. Here's the thing, and this is where the system fails us. The reason why we can't buy land in the States,
Mm-hmm.
even if we had the money,
Right.
is because of government regulations. They require you to be there, hata kubai nyumba, an apartment in the sky.
Right.
You have to have existed there
Mm-hmm.
for a certain
Not a period of time.
period of time,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
When did Kelis come to Kenya first?
I wonder.
Is it last year?
Last year.
Because she was doing a whole whatever, like visiting almost every region in this country. Maybe she was scouting for places to buy land.
I believe so.
Okay. So in less than a year, you've managed to be able to buy land in this country,
Mm-hmm.
while I can't do the same in yours. What does that say about our laws,
Right.
our constitution?
We go back to the government and the people who are actually in this
Exactly.
position, honestly.
The people that are facilitating this should be the people protecting the people they represent.
Mm.
Okay? And if she has any shred of community, I feel like she should donate that like 100 acres to the community.
I hope she'll definitely do that because
Like
she's
build a
building a
school,
resort, a
a
luxurious
hospital.
resort.
Yeah, because she's saying she's going to build a resort.
Yes,
A
and a
resort,
wellness center.
a wellness center. So you're
Also,
basically getting the wealthy people from abroad to come relax over here and see that they have opportunity to own pieces of Africa.
right. Also, they say here, being in Kenya, this is what she says. I
Mhm.
want to be of use. It's not about charity. It's about being a part of a culture. I'm part of a community. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody wants charity. It's about like, yo, I'm here. How can I be of use? Put me to work. What can I do? So whether it's farming or just showing people that I'm here and that you can invest and make businesses. And on her children, Kelis stressed the importance of having her kids adapt her life in Africa, saying that she felt that they were safer here and that they would be more respected in Kenya than in the US.
It's all well and good
Mm-hmm.
saying that she's going to, because what I got is I'm trying to create as many jobs as possible
Yeah.
to help the local economy.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I got from that entire thing. I'm running away for my own safety because I'm
Right.
black. Um, I also need her to understand something, or need society to understand something.
Alrighty.
You can lease land in Kenya
That happens.
for
That's true.
100 years.
That is true.
Okay?
Why not have that option? Right?
Why not keep that as the only option for
Mhm.
foreigners? She already has kids,
Yeah.
so she's not planning to like get kids over here.
Mhm.
And let me tell you why I say, and it's not, as I say this, somebody asked, like, am I talking about like Caucasians coming to this country and doing that? No, I'm talking about the black people that are trying to find where they come from
Okay.
in America and trying to move back to Africa, because we've seen that influx of people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all these new high-rise buildings in
Exactly.
Westlands,
Yes.
all these apartment buildings are being bought off by Americans who are trying to,
Right.
and Brits and black people from around the
Mhm.
world who
Right.
are escaping racism.
Right.
If you travel, you'll understand that racism is very healthy and almost fat.
Mm.
It's healthy around the world. You will face it. And as a black person, you're at the bottom of the
Pyramid.
the racism pyramid.
Yeah.
Everybody looks down upon you. So
Yeah.
we understand you're all trying to come to Africa where nobody will look down upon you. But if you're not of a certain age bracket,
Okay.
you shouldn't be allowed. And when I say age bracket,
What do you mean by that?
you should be able to come here with an intention of staying here
Okay.
and making this home.
Right.
Not just acquiring assets and moving, or bringing kids that you got elsewhere
Mhm.
into our country and trying to naturalize them. Fine, you now have a Kenyan ID, but are you really Kenyan? Do you understand the plight of a normal Kenyan? Because
That's what they're trying to do. I believe so.
listen, you can never understand the plight of a normal Kenyan when you own 300 acres of land. Until you actually live in this country for an extended period of time,
Right.
and in my opinion, through your childhood,
Yeah.
that's when you can call you Kenyan. Just being able to acquire an ID in this country is being misused. Because it's pretty easy to acquire an ID as a foreigner, or
Yeah.
a visa to work here.
Mm.
Like we all know, like we have hella illegal Chinese in this country. Like,
I
hella
know.
illegal.
A lot of them.
Okay?
Yeah.
Aliens. Hata Pakistanis walikuwa
Yes.
huku.
Okay.
Unasema kina nani? Ati Megan? Indians.
Right.
Hao walikuja kujenga reli.
Yeah.
No, listen. So what happens is, yeah, you have citizenship. I can say Indians that have been born here
Yeah.
are Kenyan. Najua kwa nini? They live in crack Kenyan jokes. Sawa.
That is true.
Wanaelewa jokes za kusota, because they at some point one way or another, hata kama si kusota kama yako we Mkenya, he's faced some sort of Kenyan, he's dealt with the sting of corruption, he's dealt with bad leadership. Like, you've suffered with me, so since we've been in the trenches together, I think I can consider you one of my own, right? But you live a life of privilege, of lipa school fees.
Yeah.
Okay, you studied in some of the best schools for free, you got scholarships.
Right.
Then when you feel like, now I'm 30 years old and Trump is in power.
He is in power.
Okay? I want to live in a country where we have an open racist in power. So you decide, I'm moving. And then you decide to move to Kenya, Uganda, wherever.
Right.
And you want me to, because when you come, mi naishi Umoja.
Okay.
Mi naishi Kayole.
Right.
You live either in Kilimani ama Westi.
That is true.
So officially, when you guy my guy, you've never really been into Nairobi like that. You don't even know Nairobi like that.
Right.
You just, you know streets. Kanairo hata ikujui. And then you're trying to and this is where I say, like, commit to this country to be considered a citizen of this country.
I definitely agree.
And the recklessness that we handle our affairs is being seen in our governance right now.
That is true.
Okay, we are so reckless about our affairs. We don't even understand our own value. And if this type of thinking remains in power, give it 10 years, we'll have the Hawaii situation. When there was wildfires in Hawaii.
Yeah, you actually mentioned that earlier.
When there was wildfires in Hawaii,
yes,
Hawaii has been almost bought off by billionaires, large sections of land. Kina Oprah Winfrey,
yes.
whoever, they have large parcels of land. And they took in nobody. And the locals suffered. The prices of everything went up. They tried to privatize beaches. They tried to privatize roads. Okay?
Wow.
Do you know why? Because they own the land now. They're not leasing.
And what can you tell an individual like that? I own the land.
We'll have a situation like that. And we have one already. I was telling you before.
Yes.
Nanyuki. Nanyuki is one of the most expensive pieces of real estate in this country. You know, you have, and Angalia, the most expensive areas to live in Nairobi, and tell me what you notice.
Okay.
Karen.
Okay.
What do we have a lot of?
White people.
Kisuru.
The same, yeah, a lot of white people.
Kile.
The same thing.
Westi.
A lot of white people. Different foreign people, let me say that.
A lot
individuals.
Of foreigners.
Yes, foreigners.
So wherever foreigners go, prices go up.
Always.
Right?
In everything.
They started off in the city. Now they're in Naivasha.
Naivasha.
You know how far deep inland Naivasha is into this country?
And Naivasha is beautiful. Vasha is beautiful.
It's one of the best pieces of real estate in this country.
Yes. And that's how you find also a lot of getaways in Vasha. Literally. Yeah.
How many lakes in that area?
Talk about it.
How it's
natural. Like the real nature that you want to wake up to. Yeah.
Everything is amazing about Vasha. We should have designated real estate in this country that is meant for Kenyans only.
Yeah, I agree.
The same way, Niwapi, I forget. Is it the acronym for Karen? Karen is an acronym. Ama Niwapi.
Is it a place that you're trying to...
No.
Remember the name of the place?
Wait, the US Embassy called...
Gigiri?
Gigiri.
Yes.
Do you know you can't build a 5-story house in Gigiri?
You can't. I agree with that.
Why?
Culture shock.
No.
What?
The embassy cannot allow you to see into its whatever. Like they have the same rules as State House.
No, I know
Like
that about the
you're not
embassy.
supposed to be
You
able.
can't get in.
No, the surrounding areas, buildings, they have laws that have been put in place, like zoning, that you can't build past a certain.
Okay, in regards to building.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like ukienda kujenga hapo nyumba yako, you can probably only build a 2-story building. On your own land,
Right.
you're being told how you should, in your own country.
Mm-hmm.
We go back to Nanyuki. What's that? The British base,
Yes.
military base.
Yeah.
It's literally almost next to Mount Kenya. Like it's the best piece of real estate, and they always go for the best real estate.
And where she's bought the land, it's actually where Mount Longonot is. Just you can literally see it.
Okay, and this is where I'm not trying to say this is recolonization, but it started like this. That's why the white settlers had large farms. Okay, that's why you had missionaries coming in to assess situation ikoaje. And what I'm saying is this: are we opposed to these people coming to Kenya? No, not really. But please, as government, either lease or say you can buy maximum. You can buy land maximum 3 acres.
Yeah.
But you can lease a large parcel of land to farm with.
Right.
Because there's a difference. 100 years for a country is not a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Kenya can decide that we are going to lease this piece of land for this long, for these people, for this purpose. Where they create jobs, they improve the economy of the area, but the land reverts back to the people.
Mm-hmm.
Ownership is a very different pill to swallow.
It's very important.
That's why you had farms like De La Mer. They were leasing land.
That's a huge piece of, oh my goodness.
They were leasing. They didn't own it.
But still.
Yes.
You know?
But at least they leased. The Tlumondlis, the whoever's, right? They leased those pieces of land for 100 years.
Right.
That's why they were in court trying to fight to stay when we didn't want to renew their lease. Because Kenyans were like, you have drama down there, so we want you out of our country. What happens when they come back and buy? Now you can't tell them that. You can't tell them we're canceling your lease or we're not renewing your lease for this and this and this and this.
Right.
For these infringements. You have at all points to protect the local market and community.
And I believe we should, because as you've actually mentioned right now, you can't just walk into the United States of America and just purchase a land because you're in good collaboration with Trump. Mostly as an African.
You get?
Yeah.
Like, and they will, I'm not saying it's illegal money, but did you even do background checks on where the money came from? Or do we just accept any type of money?
I believe the government we have right now, they actually do that. Accept any type of money.
And that's why you see certain scandals just driving the point away from this.
Okay.
Like Kenya is like one of the hotbeds of minerals being trafficked out of the African countries. They are passing through here. We are accomplice to other African countries' minerals being raided.
Okay. Oh, good.
We are collaborating to steal from other Africans. That is not something that should be so out there that's in newspapers. It should be criminals being hunted for smuggling Congolese gold through JKI. That should be the headline.
Right.
Not the fact that it's happening and it's like it's a thing. You get like, and again, the recklessness with which we handle our affairs is very prevalent in our governing, in our leadership models, and even in the leaders that we put in place.
But also, I believe it's something which has been in momentum. I mentioned earlier that Meta has done the same thing in Isiolo. A whole land that the locals are actually driven away from their land because Netflix owns this land because of carbon storage.
You know, Isiolo has some of the flattest land in this flattest areas in this country. So they were trying to figure out where, if we were to build like a space station type stuff.
Yeah.
It was always northeastern because like good weather,
Okay.
where the skies are always clear.
Mm,
You won't get sudden storms.
right.
And then it's super flat. Like the land is super
Got
flat
it.
for
Yeah.
acres.
Mm-hmm.
And we understand something because we're all learned. Tulienda shule hata kama ni kidogo aje.
Yeah. At least.
Um, if you dig deep enough chini, you will find water. It's just about depth.
Right.
That's the only, because geography, we understand rock beds and how water always gets trapped, right? So you'll either find a very large pocket of water or what are they called? Underground river.
Right.
That's not. I was trying to look for the scientific term to actually find a joke.
It's okay.
But
I believe you can, Wes.
Underground river,
Yeah.
right? So if you, why not as government
Okay.
invest in agriculture in that area? Why decide to sell to?
Because they're actually chasing the money.
And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I
They
was
don't
reading,
want to uplift their own.
I was reading an article today, and it was talking about how the former CEO of Microsoft
Yeah.
actually drove revenues up while killing the company's future almost. So Microsoft had a culture of, if it doesn't serve Office or Windows,
Right.
it's not a priority.
Okay.
Okay? And they even prevented Office from being on Apple just to keep their tablets, those are Windows tablets, functional for, because they were chasing the business, right? When Amazon went into cloud computing, they actually fought it tooth and nail because they believed with cloud computing,
right?
And that's why they got in late into the market with Azure,
right?
So Windows phones, right? That was, they started way earlier messing with Windows phones, kitambo kuliko Google and whoever, really early on. But instead of being innovative and creating a culture of pushing the pin forward, the creativity forward, they were looking at how can we put Windows in a phone. And they lost that to the Android market. So it was once the biggest company that was threatening to be like the largest company of all time.
Right.
But you see how leadership is key, where you look at the long-term future, not the immediate revenues that you're generating.
I agree.
And that's why that's what this government is doing.
Right.
It's looking at the immediate revenue generation, not the long-term future of this country,
right?
And how you can secure the financial and the economic position of this country for generations to come,
right?
Because it's being sold to the highest bidder right now.
That's a fact.
Yeah,
that's a fact.
A case in point.
Case literally in our faces.
She has 1.5 billion. Give her 300 acres. So, and we understand something simple as Kenyans. Kickbacks ni kawaida, kakitu kidogo ni kawaida.
Yeah.
So if somebody who's a governor, I'm not going to mention who, you've been saying his name.
Oh my gosh. I just say it was in the picture.
Yeah, akukwa picture.
Yeah.
What's the cost of him being in that picture? What yalipata nini?
That's a good question, right?
Because political capital is not free.
Of course.
Even in the US,
yes,
it's called lobbying. These companies use money on these politicians.
Right.
Okay? That's why look at it from a point of securing the country for the future generations. We have 1,000 foreigners that say they're Kenyan in their ancestry, whatever. 1,000 of them coming to this country, doing the same thing Kelis has done.
hundreds of acres of land.
What happens?
What about your Gen Z who's actually saving to buy a land?
In Kamulu. Now they went
Yes.
and bought the entire Kamulu.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you have, like, you can have money, but you have nothing to buy.
But it's a fact.
That's why you see in cities like New York, it's really rare
Oh my gosh.
to buy land.
And
People buy apartments.
yes.
That's
That's
best
what's
you can
going
do.
on right now.
Yes. And that's what we're being pushed to. Because the
Mm.
wealthy people, Bill Gates owns some of the largest farming land in the US.
Mhm.
We have the wealthy trying to secure the large parcels of land. We're going back to the era of lords.
And it's the good part of the land.
Of course, these people want to become monarchs. And then once you have these billionaires own where you come from, but
Oh my, yes, talk
you
about
have
that.
money,
Yeah.
you decide to come on where I come from. So it's a chain reaction where the basic, I'm not going to say basic because
Okay.
they're not basic. The Africans, the indigenous Africans,
Right.
let me say that.
Okay.
Okay, that sounds like I'm saying they're not indigenous. You're African, but the ones that stayed here,
Okay.
we will be in a pickle. We will be in a conundrum where we cannot be able to afford our own land.
Right.
Because it was 300,000. Now it's 3 million.
Facts.
I had saved
You've
up
been
to
saving, working hard.
295,000.
Mm-hmm.
Nilikuwa nangoja nilipwe
Right.
niweke hiyo 5k niende kwa real estate agent.
Yes.
Suddenly wewe last week umekuja ukanunua hapa acreage sijui ngapi, now the price is 500,000. What does that do for me? Now I have to go take a bank loan.
Right.
Probably nilikuwa nimeplan hiyo bank loan ni ya kujenga.
Something else. Yes.
Okay? Ndio sikuwa nataka kuwa na a very big deni mortgage.
Right.
I wanted something manageable. And it is up to our government to ensure that our children can still afford to live in this country as free people.
That is true.
And the only freedom available to people is when they own land,
properties.
And homes.
That is so true. And that's why last year during the finance bill, that part of the bill was actually, we rejected it.
Yeah.
Because they were trying to actually copy and paste the laws and regulation of the United States of America. The fact that also, like, you own a land, but the government owns it. So the government is leasing you your land.
Your land.
We said no to that because that's not part of our culture.
You know, we had freedom fighters that died for this country for that not to exist, right?
Yeah.
Because during colonization times, you'd live on land that was owned by the white person. And your way of showing gratitude was working in his farms.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Show me what's different now. Show me what happens when an R&B superstar comes to our country, buys 300 acres of land, and says, I will create jobs for the local people.
Does it ring a bell, family? As we're going to go on a short commercial break, as we come up with more conversation about our African land here in the 254 Nairobi, Kenya. Let's listen in to the health and benefits of some of the supplements we do have on our website.
Fuel your body with complete multivitamin, the perfect balance of essential nutrients for daily health and wellness. Carefully formulated from natural ingredients, our multivitamin packs vitamins A, C, D, E, plus key minerals like zinc and magnesium to support your immune system and boost energy. Just 1 tablet a day is all you need. Take it with water and feel the difference as prescribed by your healthcare provider. Stay active, stay strong, stay ready with Complete Multivitamin, your daily dose of vitality. Complete Multivitamin, simple, powerful nutrition. Go get this product at blackhotfirenetwork.com at the Sports and Nutrition store.
$2.90. Welcome back again for the ones who are watching and listening to us wherever you're at. It's your girl Iwerton Lunguria on Let's Pop with Iwerton, a conversation about Kelis, an R&B singer, American R&B singer who purchased a 300-acre of land in Kenya at a region called Naivasha. I'm going to share a video of this to help us navigate what we're actually talking about with my amazing guests, the one and only Kemlyish
Yep.
in the building, who's helping us delve deeper into this conversation. Welcome again.
Thank you.
Yes, so this is a video of her being interviewed.
Farming, you got exotic animals, you have live from Kenya with Kelis on her 150 acres, soon to be 300 acres of land. And in the background, you see this is actually a volcano, very rare, little known fact. So, Kelis, where exactly are we at right now?
Okay, so we're in Naivasha. We're right off of Lake Naivasha. And this is Mount Longonot here. Behind this property, on the other side of the mountain, is the National Reserve. This is all privately owned land here. And it's great, yeah, because as you see, all the animals are free and they're running wild, and we're farming, and it's dope building a little community out here.
Yeah, talk to us about the intent, right? We just walked and saw the farm, saw some red onions, some yellow onions. Tell us about what's happening here and what's going to be coming.
Okay, so my plan is to do an all sustainable luxury retreat, like a resort. So along with the farming, doing agriculture, but also having a wellness space so people can come and spot up and relax. We'll have a fine dining restaurant, we'll have bungalows. It's all just about being one with nature, being out here and trying to keep it as part of the ecosystem as possible and just making it all go together. So what I learned in California, I'm bringing here, and I'm learning so much. Like I was telling you, I've learned so much about farming and just how to keep everything sort of as natural and using all the natural resources, the animals and all of it. So it's been great.
So we're going to have the detailed sit-down conversation about those important to give people a visual. So on this land, tell exactly what's on this land. You got farming, you got exotic animals, you have, like, what's this all encompass?
Okay, so yeah, we've got farming right now. We're farming onions. And then we've got wildlife. So just working with all of the natural resources. We've got giraffes and zebras and elands and impalas and all kinds of stuff. Sometimes you'll get blessed with an elephant walking through and the giraffes are hanging out. So it's great because even like the Lake Naivasha, I think like December, January, you'll see it covered with like flamingos, and we get all kinds of owls and ostriches. It's incredible. It's literally like God's country.
Alvin, what's this mean for Africa? Like, to actually, for people to visually see things that they might not have an idea even exist.
I think we should just travel more. East Africa, West Africa, Central Africa. There's so much to see. I just think we should also be more educated about what's going on in the world right now. Like you said, we have wild animals, EYL, endangered species. But I just really want Black people to work together more. Just understand that like there's so much happening, and we have to really travel and just not be afraid. This was just over a year ago that we started having this conversation, and everyone's out here doing research, and this is going to be a beautiful project, and I want people to just pay attention and ask as many questions as possible, but also be a part of it. That's it.
Yeah, we were looking at a lake in front of a volcano. I mean, these are rare sightings in the world, right? So talk about the question that everybody wants to know. Why Kenya?
Oh my goodness, Kenya's everything. Kenya has everything. It is the hub of East Africa for technology and finance and obviously agriculture. It just has everything, and it's got kind of the best of all the worlds. So you can be completely far away, like in rural plains like this, or you can be in Nairobi, which is a bustling city with great restaurants and shopping and things like that. So it's amazing. I think that for me, the takeaway is always like, as the diaspora, like wanting people to see that like it's super safe, and you can invest money, you can be here, you can live here. I live here, and it's just got all the things you need.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's
what's happening. She actually
Lives
here. She lives in Kenya.
Yeah.
And she's amazing. She's gorgeous. She's doing phenomenal. But going back to the most important thing, in regards to what we're talking about, rules and regulations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she can do all that by owning 3-5 acres
Mm,
and leasing the rest.
right.
She can do all that. We're not chasing people away.
Not at all.
We're saying let's have a regulation that protects the local market,
Mm-hmm.
that makes sure that our kids in future can actually own pieces of land in
I
this country.
agree with that.
Because right now, to buy beachfront property is a problem.
Yeah.
It's expensive, and most of those homes are not even owned by Kenyans.
Mm-hmm.
You get it's foreigners and politicians.
Should we go to the conversation of we don't support our own, we don't invest in our own, we don't hold our brothers and sisters' hand, and it's actually an oil that is flowing from the above, not the above, like our government. We don't appreciate who we are. We don't appreciate each other. We don't see value in each other.
I see that
Yeah.
point. I see it, but again, um, why do you need people to clap for you to do what you're supposed to do?
No, in terms of or going back to how the government is thinking,
Oh
not
yeah,
even us.
no,
And that's why they're having these collaborations and a lot of people just coming and owning a land you've not even have lived here for a time duration.
hata hujamaliza miaka mbili,
Right.
miaka
You
mbili.
know, we're selling our own.
Exactly as you say, it's
Yeah.
trickling down.
It's trickling down.
But I feel like it's changing
Okay.
with the Gen
With this
Zs.
generation, of course.
Gen Zs
Definitely.
show up for each other
Always.
massively.
That is so true.
Massively.
And we question everything.
Yeah,
Everything.
massively. Support is there.
Yeah.
But here, the question remains: will the current generation of Kenyans actually keep that fight, or will they be diluted by the status quo? That's the biggest problem that we have to
The
solve.
current or the generation that is
No,
coming
the
up.
Gen Zs.
Uh-huh.
Will they be swallowed by the
I don't believe so.
status quo,
Yeah.
or can they maintain that? Because
I
if they
believe
maintain
I
that,
have faith in them.
yeah,
Yeah.
if they maintain that,
Yeah.
millennials, because I'm a millennial personally,
Okay.
we like each other, but we don't have that. There's a certain type of support structure
Yeah.
that Gen Zs have that is, and we can amplify it.
Mm-hmm.
But if they keep that, they can actually save this country. Because I feel like if we have a generation of politicians that actually care about this country rather than their political career,
That is true.
we will get this country right.
Yeah.
I always like to say that we've had one proper president only in Kenya,
Uh-huh.
Kibaki.
Uh-huh.
That was the only president that actually worked for the people, truly worked for the people. Every other regime, you can see traces of,
Right.
and it's not like two traces. Like you can see, this one was not for the people at all.
Okay.
This regime actually ate its own. This one, you can see it. So what if we had another 3 Kibakis?
That'll be phenomenal.
Because Kibaki took us from a carny economy to being, Kibaki took us from a carny economy to being one of the shining stars of Africa.
That is true.
He had ideas. He had ICT cities.
Yeah.
He had roads being built affordably.
That happened, yes.
Okay? And they have good roads. I mean, Thika Road is very nice, bwana.
Beautiful.
Haijaharibika kama Mombasa Road.
Yeah.
Mombasa Road imejengwa juzi,
Right.
and you can see the potholes in it.
Right.
Yeah. So the minute we have government that is geared towards protecting its own and geared towards a protected future for its country's population, then we won't see such acts of a foreigner coming into our country and actually buying tree. Come lease, please. To them, they don't see the damage that they do. They think they're doing good. Okay? They think they're being noble in their pursuit, that they're
Right.
looking for a safe haven. But in your pursuit of a safe haven,
Mhm.
you created a problem for somebody else.
Right.
Okay? And that problem, it's not even for them to solve. It's not even for the foreigners that are coming in, for the black people,
Mm.
black Americans, black Brits, black Germans that are coming into the
Mhm.
country to own land. It's not
Yeah.
up to them to solve.
Mm.
It's for the politicians to put regulations in place and not be the ones facilitating the large buying of land in this
Yes.
country by foreigners.
Yeah.
There should be rules that actually protect, because that is farmland.
It is farmland. It is.
What if it was actually how many Kenyan, we have so many wealthy Kenyan
We
farmers.
do.
Why
Yes.
they should have first refusal? Something like that.
Mhm.
Like if such a big parcel of land
It
is going
is.
to be sold,
Mm.
Kenyan farmers should have first refusal.
But
And
you
if they
haven't
say,
seen anything like that
yeah,
happening.
and if they say it's fine,
Mm.
we cannot match the offer
Yeah.
or whatever, then it goes to, because, and again, there should be different prices for foreigners.
Foreigners, I definitely agree.
Foreigners should pay through the nose for land in Kenya.
Right. The fact that you talked about is a farmland. I have maybe she's gonna join us someday, I guess, who's a large supplier,
Mhm.
and she actually owns land in Basha. She lives there
Mhm.
because she's a large supplier of, agricultural products in Nairobi,
Mhm.
and she's doing phenomenally
Mhm.
amazing. And
If that's the case, then why we shouldn't everybody pay to the price for land everywhere then, right? If that's what Camus is saying, all other people that move other places that buy land, they should pay what 3 times the price?
Sure, it's your prerogative.
as Africans or
No.
No,
Listen,
no. He said
listen.
all people, but see, the African has not done that. I don't think the African should do it to no African because the African has done it to the Chinese, the Lebanese, the
right?
white man. Now the white man didn't even pay for no damn land in Africa.
Yeah.
The church didn't pay for no land. They own majority of the land in Africa. So you got to get outside the country. Um, land has a certain price. It doesn't have
See,
doesn't
let me
dictate. Go ahead, I'm listening. I'm listening.
let, let me clarify something.
Okay.
All those groups of people you've mentioned, okay, came to Africa to oppress Africans, not to help Africans.
Of course.
Okay? We are trying to change the narrative.
Yeah.
We shouldn't have black people moving to Africa from across the world
Mhm.
only to come perpetuate the same acts upon
I
Africans.
I agree with that. There should be no exploitation. I agree
Yeah.
with that.
Mm.
So, if you're coming to my community,
Mhm.
you want to join my community as a foreigner,
Okay.
there should be,
Are Africans really that this the Joby clause? Okay, so when Kenyans go down to South Africa and buy land, are they buying land as foreigners in South Africa?
yes,
I disagree.
listen,
With that,
Go
I
ahead.
think we're in
no,
Africa. We shouldn't do that.
no, but does it, right now as we stand, we're
Yeah.
talking about what is. If I go to South Africa to buy land right
Yeah,
now,
that would be a
okay,
fight.
I will be considered a foreigner.
That is true.
If I go to Uganda to buy land, I will be considered a foreigner. Okay? They don't, and it's up to each
How
country.
about how about we do it like this, Cam? Now this will alleviate everything. No
Mhm.
ownership of land in Africa for African people, but you can lease it for 99 or 80 years. You have a lease period of time. You never completely ever own the land. You just lease the land.
We talked
Listen,
about that.
listen.
That can work,
The reason why
according to me.
foreigners should be able to lease land for
Yes.
99 years, foreigners. But indigenous people
Mm-hmm.
should be able to own land
Yes.
outright.
100%.
I agree.
If you come to Kenya,
Mm-hmm.
let's assume you can, and you're a foreigner.
Mm-hmm.
Can you buy land? Sure. But there's a cap.
Yeah.
You cannot exceed X amount of acreage.
Yeah.
okay, that you can buy, but you can lease an unlimited amount for 99 years,
Right.
essentially,
Mm-hmm.
okay? But you shouldn't be able to outrightly,
Mm-hmm.
as a foreigner, come to my country and inflate the price of land to a point where
I
I
agree.
cannot
Be able
afford the
to
land.
purchase your land because that's going to happen.
Yes,
It's actually happening.
it's happening.
Yes,
Here it is.
it is happening.
Look at Nanyuki.
Yeah.
It's happening.
Mm.
Look at Karen.
Karen, yes.
Look at Gigiri.
Yeah.
Look at Kileleshwa, Kilimani.
Mm.
You almost can't buy land in Dagoretti now.
I know.
Okay? Nani Dago.
Yeah.
You can't, because every time foreigners flock to a certain area,
Mhm.
the prices go through the roof.
They are super hyped up.
Okay?
Always.
Like, I remember having a conversation with this gentleman. I like to be in rooms where I'm the youngest person.
Let's say this. Hold on. Wait. Factual. That's not just. That's all throughout. That's Ghana. That's Nigeria. Wherever foreigners come. And the reason why that is because Africa has not developed a real economy. So if Africans ever developed a real economy, they would be on parcel with the fake European economy, which is really off the back of African people. So if they came in with their fake money, if they devalue your money, it's all fake. So they wouldn't have that advantage of their currency being worth more than yours. So it means Africa has to get economic house in order because their currency is really garbage. So they can't come in and inflate any price because their fake money would be almost worthless. It'd just be pieces of paper like the leaves on a tree. So that's what the Europeans always want to do, have an unfair advantage like the Asians, unfair advantage. That's why you gotta practice economic warfare with these people. They just say, oh, you know what, they come in, they raise the prices. Damn that. I mean you gotta now tick for tack. You gotta because even though China has become an economic superpower, China is cheaper than Africa. You know, China is cheap. I can go get a house cheaper in China than I ever could in Africa. Cheaper. Rent is cheaper. Food is cheaper. Why is that? Because China built an economy. Africa has never built an economy yet. So everything is still like Gamba said with Karen, these other places, highly expensive. Go do this for me, Airtime. Since I want to do a comparative analysis. Say because the nice areas in China 10 times cheaper than Nairobi. Make it make sense because they have a functioning economy. Africa doesn't have a functioning economy.
That's true.
So 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 I want you to say what is the average rent for a two-bedroom in China? Can't be no more than about $200.
That's cheap as hell.
I know because exactly I know China's 10 times cheaper than Africa. 10 times. 250.
A rough estimate will be between $1,200 to $2,500.
That's in China.
Yeah.
That's a lie. You can't. That's a lie. That's a
The
lie.
thing it varies really depending on the city, location within the city,
They
and the
give you most. They give you the most expensive. That's a lie. Go to check. That's a lie. Average price in China for a 2 or 3 bedroom house is like $250 $300 a month. That's it. Not no doubt. That what? In China, the average Chinese wage is only like $15,000. They can't afford that. What you talking about?
right.
That's a lie. Average price airtime between $250 $300 a month. Average. And that's probably on the high end. I'm probably if I went to China and say, oh, you crazy? That's high. That's $250, 300. About $250 $300. That obviously that's the average. And that'd be on the high end. And damn sure ain't no thousands or something. You insane?
Sorry.
That's a lie. Go to TikTok. Let's go to TikTok real quick.
Yeah.
Say
Winding up.
go to TikTok and say, ask the Chinese, say, ask, on TikTok, say, ask the Chinese, what is your monthly rent? We don't want to say average, just go to TikTok and say, ask the Chinese, how much is your monthly rent? Ask them. So it won't be biased. We'll just get anybody.
TikTok is very interesting. Its search parameters are very human centric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See what the Chinese, let's ask a regular Chinese person. See what they said. I'm sure with no $1,000, I tell you that shit you just said.
Okay.
Another month.
$300 a month.
Exactly. Exactly. About $250, $300. That's the average in China. It's cheaper to live in China than it is to live in Africa, and China's 10 times more developed because Africa is not developed economy. So your
Yeah.
first thing,
1,200 square feet for
go
$300 a
ahead.
month, and honestly,
Yeah.
I think it's a bit
Now,
overpriced.
now,
I just want to show you
see,
a typical
see, my
middle class.
president. And she said she thinks it's overpriced. Now let's see what they get. You get more than they, I bet you get more there than you get in Africa. She's saying it's overpriced. I knew I was saying that's on the high side. 250 to 300 is on the high side. But go on, let's see what she get for $300. Let's
Apartment
see.
looks like in China. So when you rent an apartment here, it's expected that the landlord provide basic furniture for the tenants, like a couch, tables and chairs, wardrobes, and
Yeah,
a
they
bed
get.
frame. We really
Yeah, the
like that
furniture's
because
already.
we live
Yeah,
most tenants
yeah, the
live here,
furniture's already
so all
given
the
to you.
furniture was never used before.
Mm.
But sadly, there's no oven. This apartment has 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. We turned one bedroom into a closet because there are none, and another bedroom into our office. And that's it. No
Three
bells, no
bedroom.
whistles, just cheap building materials and chintzy furniture.
There you go.
$300.
So
Mm-hmm.
just to react to that,
Mm-hmm.
notice the aesthetics of the apartment,
Yeah.
the surrounding areas, how
Mm.
nice they look. They look like Westie whatever,
Yes,
right?
apartments.
Apartments.
Yeah.
That was nice.
Yeah.
No, like from African standards, what we have here, what
It's
you
the
get
same
for that
thing.
money in Africa is living in Buru. No, it's actually Doni,
Right.
where you'll get a three more.
2 bedroom.
Let's assume it's 27K.
Okay.
27K job unapata standalone ama unapata keja Buru 2 bedroom, si ndio? 2 bedroom.
Mm.
And that's Buru. Okay?
Okay.
You'll still have to deal with garbage and Tindoa and
Right.
Eastlands being Apo Ivo too for 27,000.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's on the higher side.
That is
really.
true. Yeah.
But in their home country, for roughly 32,000, they can live in Westlands. That's why to them,
Yeah.
Westlands seems like
Yeah.
kawaida.
Yeah.
And to us,
Yeah.
it seems like a posh area. To them, they see that as economic living.
Mm.
Okay? That's why whenever they come to Kenya, unasikianga, this B&B is super cheap. It's $1,000 for the month.
Right.
And you're like, bro, $1,000 for the month, and you're saying it's cheap. Okay? Because to them, they pay way,
Yeah.
like in certain countries, it's kawaida. It's way less or way more for rent. So when they come here and they find Easy Bay, for them it's really cheap.
Right.
That's why, yani, nikienda huko naishi for 30K,
and
naishi base inakaa hivyo,
Mhm.
where I've been provided for furniture,
Furniture.
a bed frame, and do they have a fridge?
Mm.
Yeah, had a fridge in there. Yeah, she can do it at a fridge. Yeah, I was at the fridge in there. Had the fridge,
She said
$300. Came with a fridge. All they didn't have, they had to purchase the oven with it. So all they had is 3 bedrooms and all that shit in it for only $300 a month. Now you ain't gonna find nothing in America for no $300 a month unless you're living in a tent outside under a bridge. Okay? Because my mortgage alone is $2,300 a month. My mortgage alone is
Mhm.
was there time?
A comment here was like, China invests in their money to make life easier for the people. Public schools is free, public
Yeah.
transportation,
Free.
medicine,
Yeah, free.
health, electricity, water, etc. are cheap. That's why cost of living is very
It's
cheap
cheap.
in
Yeah, because
China.
they built a real economy. Africa
Yeah.
has never built an economy. That's the problem. These puppets have never built. There's no economy. Africa is not part of the global economy, and that's on purpose. Because Europeans, that's how they get to steal. All Africans do, but even Torres do, you got to build a real economy. Then you can lower the prices. You got to build a real economy. So then you can be on par with. Europe can't come with their fake dollars and inflate something and care because their dollars are garbage. There's no, Europe doesn't have any resources. So how is their currency more than yours?
Right.
It doesn't have any. It doesn't have any wealth. So how's their currency? Because it's all a scam. Because and so
when when they
so
shut
go,
when they
go
shut
ahead,
down
Candace.
when they shut down colonialism, they built the city of London. That's where they control Africa from. The city
West
of
City,
London.
London. West City, London was built before they had colonialism.
No, no, no. Like
That's
they
when.
transfer,
That's when.
they
That was when
transfer.
they took. That's that was way before when they took over England itself. The Rothschild family took over England, France, Austria, Spain through their banking scam. So
No,
they took over
what I'm
Germany. They took over all these countries by killing off the monarchs and putting their banking scam. Like you're right, they run it from the city of London, but also in Geneva, Switzerland. That's the
yeah.
Bank of Banks, the Bank of International Settlements.
What I'm saying is, when they told us we're independent, that was a lie. We are
Of course, it's
basically
a lie.
Hmm.
we are basically now owned by the city of London
Yeah, you
and the
think you think
and the world.
Yeah.
you think I'm gonna let your Negroes go? And my wealth comes from you. Anything else can change on the planet, except for my relationship, Europeans' relationship with Africa. Well, Africa, they're impoverished. So now the Africans finally understanding this. And you run, you see them think, oh, look at Europe. Look at how good Europe looks. Yes, moron, that's because they've been stealing out of Africa.
That's
So
true.
just like Ibn Torre just said, hey, Africa's not poor, Bikini Fast's not poor, we're rich. We're not poor. These are lies you've been told. That's why they can start building everything. They're keeping all their resources to themselves. That's why they're trying to kill them. Without Africa, Europe is impoverished. That's the dirty little scam.
Do you think Captain Ibrahim truly will allow that?
No,
What's happening in Kenya right
with
now?
Kelis, he wouldn't allow it. What you tell her is
Hmm.
come build a studio, teach our kids how to sing.
Like what he did with Arab individuals.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Teach our kids how to create an entire music industry.
Mm,
Teach them the tricks of the international music industry. If you come to Kenya and you're an engineer, what we need from you is your knowledge, engineering
right.
knowledge. If you come to Kenya and you're a Grammy winning singer
Yeah.
or artist or producer, we don't need you to come invest in farming. No, we need you to come invest in what you know, what you're revered worldwide for. Not to come start a whole other venture trying new business here. This is not a place to try new things.
Okay.
Okay? We are not an experiment for
Yeah, we're
nobody.
not.
When you and it's as Keith has said,
That-
once we respect ourselves enough to actually create
Yes.
economies,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
okay?
Hmm.
Once we respect ourselves enough to say no to the puppet leaders,
Yes, yes.
because
that's
As
what you're
we're
doing now.
as we're doing.
as
Yeah, what you're doing now.
nobody,
Hmm.
nobody in this country has ever tasted true freedom. And the minute we do,
Right.
the minute we actually get true freedom, true ability to govern ourselves,
We're getting
nothing will
close.
ever be the same.
Right.
Nothing will ever be the same. And that's the problem.
Of
And that's
course.
what I was telling you earlier.
Hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if we have three alphabet agents in this country
Right.
that are purposefully working to make sure that unity is never a
I
thing
think.
in this
Of
country.
course. You wouldn't be surprised. That's a fact. That's a fact.
And as I was saying earlier,
Hmm.
when you have, and they don't change, they just renew the same old tactics.
They fit in.
Okay?
Yep.
Perfect.
But you guys know the tactics now.
The people that come to conquer is,
Yeah.
they never change tactics.
Hmm.
They start with
Nope.
mission.
Right.
Then these missionaries come to help you create jobs.
Hmm.
Okay? They come buy land from you. In 300 acres, how many foreigners can she house without us knowing? How many agents can be in Kenya without our prior knowledge? And that's how democracy is undermined. When you have a singular person, okay,
Hmm.
gain access to a privileged position, you have the governments coming to them and approaching them, because that's how you create that's how the three-letter agents create
Right.
affiliates
Yeah.
or recruit.
Hmm.
You're in a favored position. We didn't know you,
Mhm.
but now it is your prerogative as a citizen of our country
Right.
to actually do this for us. And they will tell you to salute the flag, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like you have to comply
Hmm.
or else. And that one person can undermine, and from that location they can undermine an entire country's democracy. And that person, if they own that land outright, it's a court case trying to kick him out. A lease can be cancelled.
Hmm.
Right, exactly. Right.
Okay?
Hmm.
You shouldn't have foreigners owning such large tracts of land. Like that is what the
I agree.
Mau Mau
I agree with him. That's what the Mama was about. But see, but since Kenyatta was a no good bootlicking coon, he was a traitor. The Europeans still got control of that land. They never gave none of that land back.
that's why
They gave their bootlicks. They gave the Kenyatta family land and the other bootlicks that they put in power. But the majority of tea farm is still owned by white people run around in Africa and in Kenya today. So Canvas is right. If I would have came in like Canvas, that's okay. We're not, since you say, we're not going to be violent to you, but we're going to be right your ownership. Now you got leasing this land for 20 years, and now it's up. Every 20 years, it's up for inspection whether we're going to allow you to stay here or not, depending on how you've been maneuvered in Kenya.
yeah.
Okay,
And depending on how you behave while you're here.
Yes.
exactly.
Okay?
That is really fast for her to actually acquire
In a
land.
year, she bought 300 acres in a year. I can't even own property in the US that quick.
No.
And that's what I was telling you yesterday.
No.
So
Yeah.
if I can't
Actually, you can if you have the money. If you have the money, actually you can. Yes, actually you can because America is a country of greed and it's a country of extremes. That's why the
Mhm. Yeah.
Chinese own so much land. Uh,
With.
yeah,
yeah,
Kenya, yeah, Canvas can come and own land in America, and he also can do it very quietly.
in the
Have a
space
good
of
lawyer, and they'll let him buy as long as he has the money. If he has the money,
no,
he'll
King,
he'll get the land. Go ahead.
listen, she didn't go through no lawyer. Okay? Let me put it like this.
Who that? Who's that? Who we talking about? I don't.
Kelly,
I never. Who we
Please.
talking about? Who?
Kelis,
Please.
Oh, you talking about
Yeah.
the failed artist? Yeah, she moved from. She had a farm in California. The next thing I know, she ended up buying a farm in Kenya. How many acres
and
she got? 300.
Yes.
300.
Damn, that's a lot of acres. Shit.
So
I
listen,
know because I know the more your shit was a little higher. The more you told me an acre, cost me $10,000. I said, what? That's higher than America.
so it depends with location again.
Of course. That's
So
everything.
Yeah.
location and then farmland in areas where it rains a lot is
Very
expensive.
expensive. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's very, very
okay. But is she? Where's her farm at? Is her farm in? Is her farmland in a good area where rains? It's got good soil.
Yeah,
and
that is
wildlife, animals.
no,
Very
no.
good
But
area.
how the
Listen,
hell did she get 300 acres? I know that's Nas money too, because that broad is broke. How the hell did she get money for 300 acres in Kenya? How'd that happen?
so she bought it at $500,000 per acre, assuming, we're not sure, but that is the highest price you can get per acreage. Assuming.
Right.
Who did she bribe?
Real estate agents can always hike the price up.
Right.
But
Of course.
it cost about 1.5 billion Kenyan shillings to acquire that land.
How much is that? How much is that in American money? Hey, look it up for me, Airtime. Ask Google. How much is 1.5 billion Kenyan shillings in American money? How much is that? That's a million something. How much is that? Some one-hit wonder lady got that much money. How much is that? Say how much is 1.7 billion Kenyan shillings in American money? How much? Yeah, like $1 million. How much is that?
Mm.
11
Let me
million.
ask.
There you
It's
go.
taking too long. What is it?
11
Mm-hmm.
698
$11 million. Jesus Christ. Now, $11 million. Where's this broad getting $11 million from who's a failed? Is Nas still paying her alimony? They had no kid together, right? They had no kid. Hey, let me see. Say, ask this woman real quick, Eric. I say, is Nas paying Kelis child support? Did they have a child together? Nah, I don't even remember.
She
This
says
alimony. Good.
kids.
They got kids?
That's what she said. Like she wants to move here, her kids to experience the.
Okay, sure can. So how much? 'Cause I know he's been, put us up for me every time. Say, how much is Nas child support to Kelis? The kid's got to be grown by now.
Yes,
So she probably said,
Okay,
they
there
share
you
a
go.
son named Knight, who was born in 2009. They were married from 2003 to 2010. Well, their marriage ended, they shared custody agreement of their son.
oh damn. So okay, so 2009. So he ain't nothing but like damn what, 16 years old now. So he's still paying. So how much is the child support? No, it's public records. How much is child support is Nas playing this has been washed up broad?
Okay. She's gorgeous.
She's washed up. Gorgeous.
She
She's a no,
is.
she's a no talent act.
$8,000 per month.
Okay, that's all. I thought you must have got to be cute. She should be more than that. So $8,000 a month. Wow, I thought it was more than that. Okay, got a fairly decent price on that broad, on that old washed up broad. Only 8,000 a month.
She's beautiful. Houston.
Her argument in court stated that her expenses exceed $25,000 monthly and that the current child support is not sufficient to meet the needs of her son.
Yeah, exactly. I thought she got enough. I mean enough. I mean more. Said it wasn't enough.
She has also pointed at Nas's financial records, which show he earns around $170,000 per month.
Yeah, what? Yeah, so why should I say what? You're not entitled to that money because I married you for a year, 2 years? Why are you supposed to get all my damn money for my lifelong work? It's crazy.
So,
that's why I'm gonna marry these broads in America. Go ahead.
Goes on, a judge has raised the monthly payments to $51,000, but the two continue to battle in court.
Okay, so now maybe she was sick. I'm trying to figure where's this. What? Oh, go ahead. This what?
That was in 2018 when that happened.
See, so that's 7 years ago, Jack.
And then it goes on to say Nas has been charged with contempt of court for not paying his spousal and child support, potentially facing jail time. Who's going to pay you $51,000 every month? Are you
okay? See, that's what she wants. I know it was more. I know she's making. I know she's getting cameras. This shit is crazy. I would never marry an American woman ever again. And talking about she gonna have my baby. Never.
Really?
Never. So don't think I know she get more than 8 grand a month. I know that, but probably not 51. This broad talking about $51,000 a month for doing nothing. Out of your mind. And I was trying to figure where does a washed up singer who only had one hit song, wasn't even that much of a hit, gets $11 million to pay for land in Kenya?
Is it what you're talking about, maybe?
Keith,
Yeah.
remember,
Yeah.
Keith, that's basically a third of what he earns every month. She wants a third.
Yeah. And she's not ashamed about it.
Okay? And I was telling Everton, and I was saying she dresses tactically, if you know what I mean. Like you can always see alphabet
Agents.
if you study close enough. She dresses tactically. She always wears lace shoes. Like
Actually, I'm getting deeper into that
and then she
conclusion.
dresses to fit in. Like they always dress not to arouse suspicion from
To rise attention.
okay?
Right.
And she does that quite well. And then just to create an extra blanket of security, she made sure she came in very loudly. Okay?
Okay.
As a tourist, as a person seeking their heritage, like her coming in story doesn't allow you to suspect that she's anything but a good person trying to do. And you cannot have $11 million lying around waiting to be invested.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And that's what I'm saying. Because
one hit song like Kelis, we haven't had any music from her in decades.
and that song my boys been on the Milkshake Studios like 25 years ago. That was only one hit. That didn't make no money. So exactly.
$11 million.
That's what I'm asking.
And again, you still have money to invest in building the farm and creating a wellness center. Because actually, she's not even creating a farm, people. It's not a farm that she's going to create a wellness center, Keith. She's going to create a medical spa.
Oh, so it's a revenue scam. Okay.
Because the beauty of the Rift Valley is you have a lot of hot springs.
Okay.
A lot of hot springs, natural hot springs.
See,
okay?
that's a moneymaker, Campbell. Oh, listen, what Campbell says right, because all you gotta tell is the Africans back in the diaspora, that means from America to Canada, the Caribbean, South America. I've got this wellness center family in Kenya, back in the motherland, and it's all ready to go. Oh shit, back in the motherland.
Yeah, that if that's okay. I want to share that video of her talking about everything she's planning to do.
Live from Kenya with Kelis on her 150 acres, soon to be 300 acres of land. And in the background, you see this is actually a volcano. Right? Little known fact. So, Kelis, where exactly are we at right now?
We're in Naivasha. We're right off of Lake Naivasha. And this is Mount Longinac here. Behind this property on the other side of the mountain is the National Reserve. This is all privately owned land here. And it's great, yeah, because as you see, all the animals are free and they're running wild, and we're farming, and it's dope building a little community out here.
Yeah, talk to us about the intent, right? We just walked and saw the farm, saw some red onions, some yellow onions. Tell us about what's happening here and what's going to be coming.
Okay, so my plan is to do an all sustainable luxury retreat, like a resort. So along with the farming, doing
a luxury retreat.
Yep. That means a whole lot of LA chicks that talk through their nose.
Right.
Okay? That come to heal in Kenya after surgery.
Right.
Yeah. When pretty soon you'll have Kardashians over there healing. You had Amber Rose in Kenya, right?
Yeah, she was in Kenya.
Yeah, now build them wellness centers that actually look like their spas out there.
Right.
And watch them flock to this country. The problem is this, okay? If you're going to do something of this sort, it has to benefit the community. At
Yeah.
least 100 acres of that land should be focused on community development, or actually, if you're coming and you're a wealthy person of this sort,
Right.
give back to the people that you're joining as a community. 100 acres, subdivide into plots and actually give people land so that they can actually, like, you have to give back in one way or another. Because when we were fighting for independence, you lost nobody. Those people lost people. The land that you can now acquire free was paid for by blood, so that you can come and throw money onto it. So you have to give back to the community. There has to be a way that this actually should benefit the community. It shouldn't
That
just
should
be
be the main
building
priority.
a
Yeah.
wellness center for wealthy people. Tell me you're building a hospital to better healthcare in that area.
Right.
Okay, to an affordable hospital that
Yeah.
will be funded by so and so, where prices will be
Yeah.
on a discount of 70% for the
That
local.
that lady's a moron. She's not building no hospital campus. She's up there trying to milk money, get money for herself. I agree with him. Why should she ever be able to own that much land? And see, this is the kind of stuff that makes other people angry. When you come in and buy this much land and don't have any benefit to the community at hand. I'm going to build a wellness center that no one can afford except my rich, phony Hollywood friends.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's
Who says
basically
that?
destroying
Yeah.
the community that you're living in. Because these people should probably build a helipad or a runway where they can land without having to interact with the local people.
Yeah.
You
Because
know
they
it. You know, he know, Cameron knows the scam. That's right. They'll build an airport so they can just land in there without even have to deal with no local Kenyan. They don't want to deal with the riffraff.
So those people will only benefit her. They won't buy at the local shops,
Of course.
okay? Because she's saying she's building an all-inclusive
Yeah.
ecosystem. So
Yes,
you'll have the
yes,
farms,
she
they
said
eat
that.
there, they won't need to go outside.
Outside.
Basically, she's saying whatever I'm building here serves
for
me,
me.
not the community outside this private owned land. Okay? And that's a very selfish way of looking at it. That's a very backward way of addressing
It's a very colonized way, Campbell.
and that's why I go back to my alphabet boys. I think it might not be her that owns it.
Yeah, it makes sense
That might
actually.
be $300,000, 300 acres owned by a certain
Yeah.
alphabet organization
Makes
that
sense.
uses her as the front for that operation. Because, as I was saying, once you have influence in a certain area, they will
Definitely.
approach you.
Always.
They will
tell
tell you,
definitely come to you.
ukirudi huku kwetu,
Yeah.
unakuja kufanya, you are one hit wonder.
Right.
But we can use you as an asset. Here, what will front you as this and this and this, so that we can achieve this and this and this. Because, and they have to keep us subjugated.
Oh, that's the plan. That
That's
has
why-
always been the plan.
Ushaisikia Kenya ikiwa na a foreign policy. The US has a foreign policy.
Right.
How they interact with everybody else.
Yeah.
And it serves their foreign policy well when they can control other nations. That's why when they can't control you, they hit you with sanctions.
Yes.
Okay?
Mhm.
Iran,
Yeah.
North Korea, Russia. When they can't control you, Uganda, they hit you with sanctions.
Yeah.
They defame you. These are basically bullies. Because they will talk shit about you to their other friends, which are the other nations.
Yeah.
You'll be kicked out of the, is it the G7? Now it's the G6.
G6 right
You know,
now.
if you don't do as they say, they slander and bully you and
Defame you.
defame you
Yeah.
and push you out to look like you're
You're
crazy.
the bad guy.
Okay, it's basically the US is a woman and it uses feminine tactics.
Okay.
It will defame you,
Tell
make
us
you look
more
bad.
about that.
Yeah, defame you, make you look bad, and when it can't, it will hire goons to come kill you.
Okay.
That's a very feminine way of looking at life.
Really?
Because men talk things out.
Not all of them.
No, we'll fight one on one.
Okay.
I won't use mercenaries. I won't turn your people against you.
Okay.
I won't poison your toothpaste.
Okay.
You get?
Mm-hmm.
But once you have people set foot and take root in your land, people that have a foreign policy, you are going to be a puppet. You have officially found your puppeteer.
Yeah, because you raised that question and you're like, why do you think she got the money in return?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because it's not cheap.
Right.
11 million. An average musician in the US doesn't have $11 million lying around.
Right.
They get signed for like $1 million. And they have one dope album.
Mm-hmm.
Then they get into drugs. And stuff goes south.
Right.
But where do you get $11 million when you had one hit 25 years ago? Where do you get $11 million when you were doing cheap travel around the country, trying to show people an affordable way to travel Kenya?
Mm-hmm.
There has to be questions asked. But we're Kenyan in nani. We don't ask where does this money come
that
from.
Is so
we
true.
Don't ask why.
Yeah.
We don't change policy to benefit the local population. Yeah. We change policy to benefit the external investors.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Because and I was looking at a news update earlier to Huko.
Right.
And it was there's this company, the white guy that used to manage Kina Sauti Sol. What's his name? Let me get it.
The former manager
for Sauti Sol, yeah. You
can kindly look that up.
So that I can get it correctly. Before they moved to Nicha.
It became independent.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if there are comments here. There's a comment here in regards to her buying 3 acres of land in Naivasha, and people are saying foreigner, 300 acres. He named Chazo. She needs to be careful about our politician. It will end in tears. Love and respect. Okay, like, are we supposed to give a care about this? Money's good. Have money, guys. KRA. Yeah, people are actually asking questions about like, how's that possible on the comments, honestly.
So the former manager for Sauti Sol, his name is Marek Fuchs.
Mm-hmm.
So he runs this company. It's called but he runs this company that manages artists.
Okay.
It's South African based, but they have like a whatever. I think they've signed Dadikina Fenagitu and all those people. So he was saying something about how the biggest problem in this country in terms of entertainment is funding.
Okay.
And if the government actually did something about it, it will return back tenfold.
Mm-hmm.
And I take it back to this. You have Sakaja, a self-proclaimed former musician.
Mm-hmm.
You have a former musician or a musician coming into this country and wanting to do something positive for this country.
Right.
And as government, you decide to push her into farming instead of sitting down with her and trying to create a conducive environment for the music and the creatives, for the musicians and music development and the creative market, because she's dealt with a bigger market that actually makes a lot of money, right?
Mm-hmm.
So instead of actually putting in policies and whatever, they're showing her go buy land huko ufanye ukulima. Like there is when a situation presents itself,
Right.
when you're a leader, and a situation presents itself where you can take advantage of that situation,
Right.
it is your duty to actually get the most out of that situation in regards to a way that empowers your people.
Okay.
That's why if Elon Musk comes to Kenya,
Mhm.
we won't tell him to start farming. We'll ask him if he can build a whatever, a factory or whatever, something in regards to what he does.
But do you really mean that?
No,
Do you trust
it's
him like
an
that?
example
Okay, got it.
of people fitting in or
Mhm.
doing what they're good at. Again, it's not a petri dish. This country is not a petri dish. We need to stop allowing foreigners and other governments to come into this country and misuse and misappropriate our resources. And those resources include the people.
That is true.
Okay, we had which companies look for oil who got Talwell. They weren't even Kenyan.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
then when it was found, they were kicked out. Another foreign company came in. When was the last time you heard about Kenyan oil in your coconut
It's
instance?
been a minute.
Yeah,
I've not had any glimpse about it.
uh-huh.
Yeah. Or
Inatolewa,
any hiccup about it.
inatolewa
Yeah.
the ground, and there's no refinery being built.
Look at that.
Look at that.
I believe we have leaders.
No, we have
with their-
politicians.
Yeah, with their own selfish interests. Honestly.
We don't have leaders.
Yeah.
Politicians
Exactly.
that are politics.
Yes.
They're just playing tricks on us. We are being bamboozled. Trick is happening here. Focus on this other side so that you don't see the trick. Then once I pull off the trick, I tell you, voila, look. Now I'm a billionaire. How did you get there? What happened? Didn't you call yourself a hustler? You get
To fit in.
To fit in.
Of course.
And all these resources are being stolen. They're being misappropriated by foreigners. At what point do we as a country sit down and look? Sauti Sol walisema mjiangalia.
Yeah.
Tusipoziba ufa tutajenga kuta.
But the question is, most Kenyans don't know what camel snows. You got to educate the population first. They kept Africa ignorant on purpose so they can steal from it. You're the wealthiest place on the planet. So my main focus is to keep it ignorant. So not many Kenyans can actually even address the conversation that Canvas is having. You got to get the educational level up first. Go ahead, guys.
The guys are questioning here on the comments.
Huh.
They're like, how?
Yeah, how?
Yeah, we have a generation of people questioning on the comments. They're like, how did she get or buy?
Exactly. That's what I said. How? So at least that's when the Kenyans are finally because they're actually finally questioning. The Africans were told not to question shit. Yeah, how? How's this broad who's a foreigner get 300 acres of prime Kenyan land? How?
It's like foreigners, 300 acres. This is a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very big joke. Because at what point does that, and then it's a headline. At what point does a foreigner acquiring large tracts of land become a point of conversation that we should upload? It's not even said foreigner invests in building a farm and employing whatever. It doesn't. Okay? And then the thing that she's going to create doesn't even add to our economy like that. We don't have.
Sure does. It just right. It just extracts money for her. It doesn't add to the economy whatsoever. Doesn't give jobs. Doesn't give. It just takes.
Exactly. how does how does it? There's nothing that it serves for us as the locals.
Right.
It serves in no way the economy. So why do we allow such an act to be purported, in our borders? Say this.
Mm.
Hey, I wanna come build. I wanna come farm. We tell you these are the options of things you can farm in this land.
Mm.
Choose one. Okay?
Right.
And then if it's flowers, if it's pyrethrum, if it's if it's French beans, because if it's 300 acres, it
Right.
should be geared towards export and actual
That's a
um
fact.
um what do they call it?
Business.
Economic
Right.
farming. Like farming is a business.
Right.
It shouldn't be at your it's
How is it benefiting the economy of Kenya?
yeah.
Yeah.
Like you should export something so that we can get money out of it,
That is
out
so
of this large tract
That
of
is so
land.
true.
Because what you've done by owning it is you've made sure that the local people
Yeah.
cannot get economic sustenance out of this land.
That is so true. Jibajaba is saying, is it a signal that Kenya is for sale to Americans? Tie that with the reason for the Kenya rally race surveying the country.
What
How
do
are
you mean
you,
surveying? The world rally circuit happens in Kenya. We have a Kenyan whatever, Naivasha every time.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. Every year.
Huko ndio gonorrhea watu wanapeania siku hizi. That is
Right.
where you go to get crabs. But you have people don't understand when she says she has wildlife in her backyard. Okay?
Because I'm going to read here before we move forward, also as you're winding up. We're building a little community out here. My plan is to do an all-sustainable luxury retreat, as we've heard, a wellness resort with farming, fine dining, and bungalows. It's about being one with nature, staying sustainable, and creating something that fits into the ecosystem. Then she says to protect her crop, she has fenced off portions of the land while also planning to install a watering hole and plant flora to support local biodiversity. And then also she's saying while the singer's choice to buy land in a conservation rich area raised eyebrows.
Yep.
So people are questioning, obviously.
Yep.
She emphasized her vision of peaceful coexistence. There's a way to farm and not ruin the ecosystem, to actually become a part of it. That's what she says.
Because again, we have national parks. There's a national park in Naivasha, there's a national park in Nakuru, there's a national park in Elementaita.
True.
Okay? And that's all in the space of their towns following each other. Kwanzia Gilgil,
Right.
it's basically just parks.
Yeah.
So that means some law was bent
Obviously.
for 300 acres in a conservation
is there
heavy
with her in
area.
that photo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
it's a well taken photo with the governor over here.
When you hear that there's wildlife, every type of deer, bird watchers go to Naivasha.
Right.
Hell's Gate Neo Hapo.
Someone mentioned that.
Okay.
Yeah.
As in,
it's all in one.
You can literally see the mountain.
The one and only Mount Longonot.
And then when we say we are for sale, or when General Mosquito asks, is that because she is saying she wants others to come do the same. She's inviting other foreigners to come do the same.
And show others how to build wealth in Africa.
Why don't you teach Africans how to build wealth in Africa?
Right.
Why don't you provide jobs that actually pay a fair wage to those Africans? Why are you creating a business that excludes those Africans from
and the
economic
locals? Yeah, mostly the locals.
Gain. Yeah.
Most importantly. I'm so glad that a lot of people raise their eyebrows on this.
Yeah.
I wish that maybe it would have been loud enough, or by the end of the day, maybe they're thinking, or what are you going to do about it? Because they've already, made the deal. But it's
Yeah.
still possible, honestly.
No.
Also, you mentioned something about the farmers around. Nobody raised question or an uproar
I
about
bet
this
you-
conversation
you-
because it's going to also affect the farmers in Naivasha.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I bet you it was done chini ya maji.
like the matter thing
Yup.
for carbon storage.
Yep. It was done chini ya maji. The surrounding people didn't know until it was done. And that's the difference between leasing and buying land. If you lease land in this community to somebody this community does not approve of, you can cancel the lease. Ownership is a different beast. Because I paid. I have the title.
Right.
I pay my land rates. What are you telling me?
I'm in concurrent with you because how Matter did purchase the land in Isiolo, at first when they're doing interviews with the locals, they said this is what they were told. It's a conservative land. So they have to move away. They have to move away to a different location or region. So they have been moving each and every time because they were told it's a conservative land. And actually, some of the people lost their life because they were like, why am I moving from my land?
Yeah.
This is my land. I've seen my father's generation.
This is where
Yeah.
my lineage, my ancestors are
Mhm.
buried. Why are you telling me to move?
Yeah. And all their animals or domestic animals were actually prohibited to go and graze on their land.
Again, I want to open people's eyes.
Mhm.
Okay? This is how they came in during colonization.
Yeah. Okay.
In stages. They never came in all at once. They come in stages. Okay? There's stage 1,
Stage 1. Okay.
where they come in, they tour the area.
Mm-hmm.
They like what they see. They go home.
Makes sense, like 100%.
They call their fellow whatevers. They plan. Okay? They come back. And that's the thing. And they just keep coming in waves. It's wave. And this, we've already seen how Westlands is right now.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen how Karen is right now. How Gigiri is.
Right.
It's unlivable for the normal person. If you're not earning above 300,000
Mm-hmm.
minimum, you can't live in Gigiri. Because matatu gani uenda huko?
The camel's right. That's called they're gentrifying you out of your own country.
I don't know which bus goes there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because the people that are living over there don't need them.
Yeah.
Okay? That's why you see certain restaurants that have a clientele of foreigners, like
Mhm.
Art Cafe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry, not Art Cafe, another one. Yeah, you can face racism in them. Okay?
Right.
They will tell you that this table is booked and it's and
That's right. That's right, Eric. Time the table is booked for you and your friends.
some white guy comes, is given the same table,
Yeah.
and we asked the guy, did you book this table? They were like, nah, I just walked in. And we were like, what the fuck? What the fuck though?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? We didn't even order. We left. And
Right.
you'll find it's a culture that has been propagated
Mm-hmm.
by the foreigners being around,
Mm-hmm.
by them being the key clientele. They're not looking for your shilling, they're looking for that dollar. That's why I did the malls in those places are almost unaffordable. Like,
Yeah. It's a fact though.
it's a fact.
Yeah.
Uko hivyo unaenda unapata nyanya ni 30 bob moja.
Crazy, and it's so hard to find. Okay, they're there, but most time you literally go to the store and buy groceries.
Yeah.
Which I don't do that because I like fresh groceries
So
from the market.
unapata
you
ni
know?
Carrefour iko peke yake inauza.
Yes.
Now you have to go buy groceries in a supermarket. I don't do that. You have to go buy meat at the supermarket. I don't do that.
Everything at the store.
At the store. That is an LA lifestyle. Huku napenda kwenda, I want a personal relationship with my butcher.
Or you can literally grow that
If it's kales and spinach
on your
and
backyard.
whatever, you grow it.
Yeah, you can definitely grow that.
How many Kenyans, if Karen and all these areas were well priced, will be able to live well?
A lot of them.
Look at the amenities that are built around these areas.
Yeah.
Some of the best.
Beautiful.
Huwezi pata hata barabara iko na
Perfection. You're like, wow. That's why I told you when you mentioned Gigiri, if you're someone who's not used to that, culture shock. You'll be like, am I in Beverly Hills?
Yeah.
Literally.
Because you'll need to understand international slang to exist in certain areas in this city. The restaurants you go to, and even the waiters are Indian, my guy. Okay? You're like the third black person in there.
Right.
And they're looking at you fine. And you're home.
This is home. I should definitely feel free and safe.
Okay?
Yeah.
You'll go to institutions.
Yeah, that's a fact.
There's a thing.
Yeah.
There's a lady that said, the only reason I got this job in Kenya is because I'm white. Okay? And she was saying how there were Kenyans more qualified, but the company liked her aesthetics.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
And she got the job. That's a culture of not even appreciating ourselves. You know, and that's what leads
That's
to
what, yeah, as I said earlier.
You stop and you erode your own value as you go down the line. Tunaanza na hii, next is this, next is this, next is we can't own our own land. It's too expensive for us.
And your
now,
worth.
Now we have to move to Uganda. No. And you're actually a millionaire.
Not really. And your worth is found by someone who doesn't look like you. And you actually want that validation from them.
Adeline. Question is,
and that are seeing the government collaborating because they're getting something out of this, obviously.
And when you ask how are we
getting bribed to get a kickback here,
yeah.
Okay, we had leaders that collaborated. This is how we were colonized. Leaders that didn't ask questions. Leaders that were too trusting.
Yes.
Leaders that were not paranoid enough. You need to be paranoid when dealing with foreign entities.
I believe they know what's happening. It's not even like they don't know. They know what's really going on. They do.
I'll differ. They know
the kind of politicians we do have.
Listen, they know to a certain extent.
Leaders that we do have. They understand what's happening. Honestly,
let's take this as a case study.
Okay.
Right. Let's assume it's an alphabet acquisition.
Okay.
Okay. I believe they don't even know it's an alphabet acquisition.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
No,
because
I disagree with that.
These entities don't like operating. They like to have an advantage. The element of surprise, where you don't know that they exist in this manner so that they can influence what they need without your input directly. Okay? That's why if you read these or you watch these videos of US soldiers talking about how they were operating in Afghanistan, they give local leaders millions of dollars. They give them money. That money will be used all the way back to the insurgents.
I believe we have the ones right now in power that they know what's happening and they've been given ultimatums. If you go against it, you know what's going to happen to you.
I believe they don't care to the point where they're not even invested in finding out if this is happening. There's a difference between actually being invested in knowing and being what we see. I can't give them the benefit of the doubt. Reason is they haven't given me any leadership qualities that allow me to give them the benefit of the doubt that they know. And if they know and they've let it happen,
they do know.
If they know and they've let it happen, it's proper. it goes against the constitution. It's betrayal
But they don't
of
care
your.
about the constitution. This is what Vajaba is saying.
Mhm.
A politician will be replaced if you do not play ball with the e-backing interests.
And,
You're giving ultimatums, Kamlesh.
and this is
They
where
know what's happening.
this is where we say we need Traores.
I agree with you.
Okay?
Yeah.
That go like, I'm already dead. If you wanna kill me, I'm already dead.
Yeah.
But I will create more me's.
It's happening.
I will duplicate myself across the continent. You might silence me, but by my silence, you have created 1,000 other versions of me.
Right.
Because there's nothing as bad in this lifetime as fear. Fear allows people to control you. Fear should never be in the vocabulary when you're trying to better yourself. You have to be courageous. You have to be willing to see the bigger picture and be willing to suffer the consequences of chasing that bigger picture.
Right.
Traore might not be here for another 10, 20 years.
Okay.
But his effect will be felt for that 10, 20 years. And that's what we need. We need leaders that desire immortality in a good way, that want to be talked about positively 200 years from now. Okay? That we can say they built what we now enjoy.
Right, so true.
Those are the kind of leaders we need. We are oversaturated with politicians. We don't need them anymore. We need leadership classes as common courses in tertiary education institutions. Universities should have leadership common courses where they teach those that make it there how to lead others. Okay, how to collaborate, how to build for the future.
Right.
Not how to just get a job and keep your head down hoping that you don't cause any ripples.
Right.
We need people that are proud to disrupt, make things better. People that are proud to serve their fellow Kenyans.
History maker world changes as we're winding up, actually.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with you. Thank you, Jiba Jabber, saying read the book John Perkins, Confessions of an Economic Hitman. It's a film as well. I think you've heard about it.
What's the name of the film?
It's a book by John Perkins, Confessions of an Economic Hitman. Yeah, but I believe, as you said earlier, also it's the fact that they want Africa without the Africans. That has always been the plan. Even the outrage of quote unquote diseases that are gonna affect you in ways which we know like it's not gonna affect us. That's how they actually put this here. But family, hopefully we'll continue with this conversation the other week, but this has been amazing. Kamlesh, amazing insight over there. Thank you so much. Yeah, I the fact that you actually made me question Monday without this conversation, it's a good thing. It's the fact that it led us to this conversation right now. And we know better. The last comment by Deepa Jabba, how to operate from self-interest. I think it's from the Confessions of an Economic Hitman. Family, have a beautiful, beautiful evening, weekend, rest, stay hydrated. That has been a conversation about Kelis, the R&B American singer who has bought a 300-acre of land in Kenya at a region known as Naivasha. As you download our app on the Google Play Store, stream on www.blackoutfirenetwork.com for amazing, healthy supplement, apparel clothing with the Black Hot Fire Radio logo on net. Remember, as always, you are the change you need to see in the world. Match, love, and sending so much love and light. Your last comments, Kamlesh, as we wind up.
Stay proud and know that you have a right to exist in your homeland affordably.
Right. Yes.
Don't let people inflate the living standards in your country. Elect the right leaders that protect you. And make sure that you limit any chances of foreign interference.
Right.
Because that's how you get elections that are easy to interfere with.
Right.
That's how you get your democracy being meddled in. Such things start from small acts like this.
Yeah.
You don't see the drip effect until the bucket is full.
I agree with you.
Okay?
Yeah.
If the tap is just dripping and you're not worried about the bill, trust me, it will be buckets later.
That is true.
Ziba kuta. Ziba ufa usijenge kuta.
Facts.
Okay? That's all I have to say.
Thank you so much, Mr. Newsom. Have a great weekend and thank you for joining us.
Greetings and salutations, everyone. Here is Andrew Robinson, your Jamaican brother, all the way in Switzerland. And I'm reaching out to all of our brothers and sisters on the African continent. You're tuning into Black Hot Fire Radio.
You're now listening to the best music.
Feel the freshness. Greetings and salutations, Master Andrew Robinson, your Jamaican brother, all the way in Switzerland. And you're tuning into Black Hot Fire Radio.
You're now listening to the best music.
Feel the freshness.